Good morning.
Morning,
Welcome to the
guys.
little podcast that good.
How you guys?
Yeah, good morning.
Can't complain.
Morning, Ewan. Good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you, man.
Things are good. Things are good in your world. Pretty busy. We just had
Yeah,
Pat Stewart of Bryan Adams band
yeah,
on. He was
Mm,
yeah.
he was
Pat's
mhm.
awesome,
preaching a good
man.
word about the Currie brothers.
Yeah,
That's right.
we
Yeah.
spent a lot of time hanging out with Pat backstage. He's a great
He's
dude. Yeah,
he's good people, man.
Yeah.
Good shit.
Yeah. So you and you're just coming off that tour with Bryan Adams. Tell us a bit about that. How was that?
it was great. It was easy. I mean, it was like
Mhm.
every day we got to just set the table for 40 of the greatest hits of the last 25 years. 30, 40 years, I guess it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brian and his crew were great. Treated us really well. Playing all the big hockey barns in Canada was really fun. It was
No
a real
doubt.
good time. Yeah.
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 And maybe tell us a little bit about that. Pat went into it a little bit, but I want to get your perspective of it. Where you guys did some like a bunch of Christmas music together.
Yeah.
Mm,
Uh,
mm.
so after we took a little break at the first part of the tour and we filmed a Christmas special that aired. It was September when we filmed it, so it aired in December. So it's like hot outside and you're pretending that it's all Christmassy and everything. So
Yeah.
it was crazy. It was 2 days. It was like all these people, like the Bare Naked Ladies and Alan Doyle and Alessia Cara and Lights and the Sheepdogs. And we're all just like crammed in a room and they're like throwing songs at us that I'm just like trying to learn on the fly. And
Yeah.
it ended up
Yeah.
looking good. I got to say, when we were doing it, I was a little worried that it was going to be a little hairy, but it turned
That's
out pretty
hilarious
good.
because that was Pat's take too. He was like, dude, it was
Yeah.
just such on the fly, on the
Oh
go.
my
Like
God.
we weren't
Yeah.
truly sure how it was going to turn out.
But
Yeah.
sometimes some of the best stuff comes out of those sessions where there's no kind of script. Do you find, or how does that work?
Sometimes you can get some good moments for sure. Like you surprise yourself when
Yeah.
you have not as much time to plan.
That's right.
I don't know. I thought we were doing 2 songs, and next thing you know, we were playing on the whole thing. So I like the whole show. I'm next to Brian, just like trying to like sight read chords and figure out these songs I've never played before. But it was a good challenge to sort of push myself to do that.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, for sure. So what do you do to unwind when you come off a tour like that? So you just traveled all around with Bryan Adams. How do you sort of, or do you kind of reintegrate to home life and an everyday life, or what does that look like for you?
I'm pretty boring. I think I like watching football. I listen to records. You can see behind me. I like to read like detective novels. Like I'm a real old man over here. I got my cardigan on, as you can
Yeah.
see. I
Nothing
like
wrong
to
with that.
cook. Yeah.
nice.
Uh, yeah. I just like, touring is really hectic, and
Mhm.
you whether it's like the craziness of traveling all the time or like whatever it is. I don't know. I crave like real normalcy when I get off the road. Like I just want to like relax and chill out and do something very normal things. Like
Right.
when I hear somebody tell me about like, "Oh, man, all we do is get takeout and watch a TV show or a movie," I'm just like, oh my God, that sounds
It
amazing.
sounds
'Cause-
amazing.
yeah, because
Sounds
we
like a
don't
dream.
yeah, we don't do a lot of that. But yeah, I just try to take a real chill because I like to save my energy for hitting it on stage and embracing
Makes
the
sense.
adventure that is like, like our tour bus is like a pirate ship. We roll into town and
Yar.
we do our best to bring bring some of that energy when we come to your town.
Right.
And so
Yeah,
what are you spinning
exactly.
lately? What are your go-tos for the record player?
And it's depends. It's kind of like sometimes it's like what I brought back from tour. I didn't get a chance to buy much this tour because a lot of times these hockey arenas are not near anything. Like on the Adams, we're playing like you know like for like Ottawa, you're in the middle of nowhere. Like
Right.
you gotta take a car into town, and so it's hard to kind of get to stuff. But when I get back, my favorite is JJ Cale. Like he's he's like mellow rock and roll, so it's still rocks, but it's like it's soothing and easy on my tired brain.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you have certain like comfort music that you go to? Todd and I were kind of talking about how we have certain like comfort bands from our childhood, like the Eagles or whatever. Is there something like that you kind of turn to because it's easy and you like listening to and it's familiar and all that?
I love the Eagles. Agree with you there.
Yeah.
Beatles are like great. Like we did this crazy tour over in Australia a couple of years ago, and it was a really crazy time for me personally as well as professionally. But it was like I decided that I was going to listen to the entire Beatles catalog for the first time in a long years. And actually, I tried to do a thing where I ranked all the Beatles songs from first to last, which was like so challenging. So I was just walking around Australia with my headphones in, listening to every single Beatles album. And man, that was just like, I would be like walking around listening on it. At times I'm like, yes, this is firing me up. And other times I'd be like getting emotional, like, oh my God, we do have to carry that weight, Paul McCartney. You know, like you could just really like, it's such a like, what a catalog that is. It's just so like inspiring.
Right.
Just that you
Dude,
can
that's
tap into it
insane. I don't
anytime.
think I could even
Yeah.
pick a favorite album, let alone rank their songs. You crazy?
That's the challenge. Yeah. And it was really fun because I would like, I can't remember what the song. I think it was "Little Child" was the song that I picked for
Huh.
last place. And so, because
Mhm.
everyone, all the bandmates were like, "What's the worst song?" That's like "Little Child." It's from like the second record. It's like a
Right.
inconsequential like tune. And then we just kept singing it the whole time. So I kind of started to like it. So I had to move it up my rankings. And this is what
So
my
what's
brain's like.
number one?
Oof, that's so
Well,
hard.
well, I was gonna write up a post about this, so I'd be stepping on that post. But I'll tell you,
Okay.
I,
All right.
I personally is my list. From Abbey Road, I love "You Never Give Me Your Money," which is the start of the Beatles, the Abbey Road medley. That song to
It's a
me
good
is
one.
like just a beautiful, beautiful song.
Right. And so how did you get into the Beatles? Were you influenced by your parents in any way? Like how did that come to be something that you listened to?
I got, classic baby boomer parents that
Mm.
loved, they came of age in the 60s and 70s. So we grew up listening to a lot of that stuff. It never occurred to me to hate what my parents like listening to. I mean, they like a little more like clean cut, like the Carpenters and stuff than I do. I mean, I like the Carpenters, but like they weren't as much into like the brash Led Zeppelins and such. But I think when got a little older, my dad got a CD from his friend. It was like a Paul McCartney CD. So I was kind of into Wings and Paul McCartney more before the Beatles. And then when you
Yeah,
kind of
same.
like crack the catalog that is the Beatles, it's just like, I mean, like life changing. Absolutely. Like just the creativity that is in those records is like mind altering and life changing.
Mhm. Mhm.
Growing up in Saskatoon, like it's not known as the rock center of the universe
It's
at
not
all. It's certainly not. I'm
okay.
wondering what, like growing up there, what did it give you musically that maybe you couldn't have gotten from Los Angeles or London or something like that?
I don't know. I think there's like a independent streak that comes from being so isolated. Like Saskatoon is very, it's in the middle of the country. It's far from things. We don't have a like American town that's exciting and nearby us. Like it's like North Dakota is to the south of us. So people typically just go to like Calgary, which is still like a 6.5, 7 hour drive. We're very isolated. Um, and like musically, like when we were becoming of age and we started going out to shows and the bars and stuff like that, the music we were hearing wasn't like what we were listening to. Like we loved listening. We would get together on Friday night and drink beers, and we listened to, Creedence, the Stones, Kinks, Zeppelin, that kind of stuff. Crosby, Stills and
Mhm.
Nash, even because we love harmonies. And then we go to the bar, and the bands would be like punk, ska, uh, motorcycle bar, dad blues rock, or like you go to like the indie shows, and it would be like very emo, screamo, metal. And so we didn't
Mhm.
find like our music in those scenes, but we wanted to go to live music. So we just like started our own band to just create what we felt there was an absence of in Saskatoon, and learned a lot of lessons about how to like run a band and like learn when Saskatoon is your starting point from an independent band touring standpoint. It's a high degree of difficulty. So it really
Right.
tests like the number of bands we knew that did one tour and then broke up was very high because it's just a challenge. Yeah.
Right. And I guess being in Canada, the geography is so vast. It's not like you can just jump to from one big town to another, right? Like you have to travel hours to get to another major center sometimes, right? So like
Yeah.
how does that play into things?
Yeah, it's very challenging. So I think Southern Ontario bands have a massive advantage because
Mm,
they can hit all those little towns. But
right.
yeah, for out west, it's tough. Like we used to tour both ways, east and west. And after a while, we figured out that going west, we'd have to play 3 sets a night. We get paid better, but we would be playing to like tourists. When we started going east, that's where the music industry was, Toronto.
Right.
Yeah, I think it really challenges to be a good driving. Like, you got to be able to drive a crappy van in bad weather. That's a big test of Canadian bands.
Right.
Uh, and yeah, it just sort of some of those that rudeness of like booking your own shows and managing your meager finances so that you don't run out of gas because it's if you leave Saskatoon and you drive straight to Toronto, it's like 33 hours or something like that,
Yeah.
nonstop.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fun.
So,
You and your
yeah.
band sounds like it could have been in the 70s. So if Sheepdogs were formed in 75,
Okay.
how do you see that story ending?
Man, I don't know. I love that. Like, that's my favorite era of music. That's like, to me, that's like the golden era of rock and roll. Like, it never got better than that. But like, I can't, when you read a lot of these bios, like I'm sure you guys watch the docs or read rock and roll autobiographies, they're also unhealthy. Like, they all
Mm,
just got addicted to drugs and made terrible
yeah.
personal decisions that ruined their lives. We get the benefit of so much more modern kind of like, whether it's like not doing cocaine all the time or therapy, mental health
Yeah.
awareness and those kinds of things. So we have a bit more balance in regards to that. The downside is it's rock and roll is not the like prevalent art form on the radio these days, but it's still there. Um, so I guess my answer to your question is I die of an overdose.
You probably
I
joined
don't
the
know.
27 Club, and
Yeah. Yeah.
I love
Well,
Rick Beard
thankfully,
there.
now that we know better, we do better, right? And
We do.
so you mentioned something about the 70s being your favorite genre or era of rock. What is it specifically about the 70s sound that or vibe, I guess, that you love so much and that maybe you try to incorporate into your own sound?
It's purely just us. This sounds good. Let's replicate it. That's all we do. Like, I don't go,
Right.
I like the 70s for some other reason. I mean, the 70s was a pretty dicey era for a variety of reasons politically.
Right.
We're hopefully improving as a society in the year 2026, although arguable in some regards.
We
Um,
won't go there.
we won't go there. Rock and roll is the topic. Like, rock and roll was birthed in the 50s ish. And then it's really like it's like this big, it's like this little thing of like it's Chuck Berry, it's Buddy Holly. And then the
Mhm.
60s expands it with like what it can be. And it starts to intersect with other genres and it becomes a much bigger thing where you could do anything. And then it kind of gets perfected, I think, in the early 70s, I'd say, where bands are really the combination of the the genre has expanded enough. It's meeting other genres. The technology has improved so that they can capture more of the sound and they can do more overdubbing and more experimentation in the studio. So bands can like really explore their creativity. And then I guess it must have just got too corporate or something. And then you get that era. And I don't know if you guys love Styx or Journey or those bands. They got some good songs for sure. But
Mhm.
that era that kind of came next, you got real slick. And I really think that
Right.
kind of predicted the like, not exactly, but it's sort of a harbinger of the like AI era of auto tune where it just got too calculating and it's no longer about like some really creative like inspiration. It's about just trying to like, let's create the most successful piece of music that will generate the most income. And that's when rock and roll starts to lose its like fun and its cool factors. That's a
Right.
long, really academic way of saying, but just something magic about really, it's like that sort of 68 to 73 ish window that to me is the greatest. And
Mm.
like in anything where it's like, architecture or cars or fashion, there's just different eras that, that are always going to stand out. And I think that's the best for rock.
It's the
Yeah.
songwriting.
Yeah.
It's the playing. It's
Yeah.
all of that stuff.
Yeah, that too. I mean, you had guys learning how to like, I guess it was also like bands were like had come up in cover bands and playing high school dances and stuff. So they had the chops and they learned all these other songs before they went out and wrote their own songs. That helps as well.
Mhm. Mhm. We were talking about that the other day about the kind of the importance of going through the motions and having all of that life experience that helps you to thrive and survive as a band, rather than kind of today we see a lot of bands just kind of plopped into the limelight because their song went viral on YouTube or something like that. So,
Totally.
do you think that has to do a lot to do with success?
Yeah, I've heard of some examples where an artist has a massive TikTok song, gets a big tour. They're playing their first tour to like 2,000 people a night, which is great. But they don't know how to play other than in their bedroom. Like they're used to setting up a camera, playing with
Right.
nobody there. And all of a sudden they're like, oh my God. I know I have a friend who's a really successful music engineer, producer, and he was texting with his artist and he's like, let me give you a call. And all of a sudden she wouldn't talk to him. She's like, oh, I'm not good on the phone. That's a whole other can
No.
of worms, but like very, so the live is such a thing. It's like, you can't replace
Yeah.
the experience of like people who have spent all those hours on stage building
Right.
learning what works in a show is huge. Playing gigs and like becoming comfortable with silence between songs where you're not rushing and like panicking, or learning like how to like, what if we segued this song into this song so it would like flow and start off with a banger, but then we got to bring it down and then we kind of like build it back up, but we can't do too many slow songs in a row. Like all those little like live things, just like they just make a show
Mhm.
so good. And when you go see a great live band that's got so many reps and so many hours, like it just, you can see it
Well, you can
in
tell.
there. You can hear it. Yeah.
They'll do their song and it's like, oh, that's so close to this song. So let's transition there and then we'll pull it back to art. Like you say, you can tell when a band gets it.
Showmanship. Yeah,
They you can sense their comfort, and it makes the audience feel comfortable too.
absolutely. Yeah.
Speaking of which, tell us a bit about what is your favorite kind of venue to play?
I honestly like a variety of venues. I love playing a small show in a bar that is maybe too small for us, where it's just bottled up and somebody's
Dirty
right
and
here.
sweaty and yeah.
That's fun. I love a beautiful mid-sized venue like the Commodore Ballroom in Vancouver, where it's beautiful sight lines. The floor is that horsehair floor that has some give to it.
Bouncy
It
floor there,
feels,
yeah.
yeah, chandeliers, so it feels ornate. But we've gotten to play like, the film in San Francisco, which you can just feel the like, the Grateful Dead looking over your shoulder. Playing outside at a festival as the sun has just gone down and it's summertime in Canada is like a beautiful thing. Like that's an incredible experience. As
Mosquitoes
long
and all.
I was just gonna say, as long as the mosquitoes are in check. We
Black flies.
played at the I can't remember what the festival was last year, and the mosquitoes were out of control. I was eating them by the mouthful. Yeah.
There's only so much swatting you can do, right?
Yeah. Yeah, especially when you're playing guitar and singing at the same time.
Yeah. And so who forms your audience these days? What does that look like? If we could have a snapshot of your audience, who's in it?
It's a mix, which I'm very pleased. I think, as we've gotten older, like the fear is that your crowd just ages with you and you don't get any new people, but it's really a mix. Like we see everything from like old hippie rocker guys and gals who have been going to shows for decades. And then we see, like 19-year-olds that are like, dudes that are growing their hair long and girls that are like wearing their thrift store finds and things. That like gets me so excited because it's like, cool, young people are still into rock and roll. And then everything in between.
Yeah.
A lot of just regular folk that just love listening to the radio and work really hard to be able to afford a ticket for a show. And so it's a mix of like hardcore music fans and then just like good old fashioned regular folks. So it's I can't pinpoint it as being one thing or another, but it's yeah,
A
the
nice
two big
mix, I
things.
guess.
Yeah, it's the two big things would be like young people come to the show and people caring about the new songs is like my favorite thing to see.
Yeah. Ewan, before your band blew up, what was a totally normal day for you?
Let's see. I mean, depends if I'm off the road or on tour. Like I'd probably be sleeping in because I work nights as a bartender. And then I would probably have a band rehearsal in the like early evening after the other guys got off work, or we'd work on recording music throughout the day because I would work. They'd work at night. Sorry, I'd work at night. They'd work in the day. So I would work by myself on the record, and then they come in and play some parts. Then I go to work till 3 a.m. at a pub. I worked at like 7 different bars in Saskatoon because
Busy.
every time I had to go on tour, I'd lose my job. So I would just jump down to the next bar.
That's handy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
can you remember any of the other names that were being thrown around before you guys decided on the Sheepdogs?
Yeah, I can. They're pretty bad. Well, we were for like I want to say at least a year. We were the Breaks. That was our first band name, and then there was a
Breaks
couple bands with
like the brakes, you're
BR,
breaking something or you're braking like in a car?
the former BREAKS,
Brakes.
which is pretty
Okay.
not bad. But there's
Okay.
like a couple of similar band names at the time that are no longer around, so we could have kept that one. But we had a bunch of different stupid names, like the ampersands. Like an ampersand is like the
Yeah.
and symbol.
Yeah.
I don't know. We had a big dumb list. It's so hard to name a band. Like it's
Yeah.
sneaky hard.
You would think, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Um, do you ever think about exploring kind of a new sound in your music, or do you work hard to ensure that you stay with this vibe that you have right now?
I think a little both. There's some flavors on our new record that veer out of just straight ahead rock and roll. There's a song called
Okay.
"Take a Look at Me Riding" that has like a groovier flavor and some horns on it.
Yeah.
It's a style we flirted with before, but it's nice. It's more chill and subtle and groovy and funky a little bit. Um,
Hmm.
but also, I really believe in playing to the band's strengths, and I think there's a man's got to know his limitations to some degree, and I think that's when we're at our best is when we like do what we're good at. And
That's fair.
I don't see any shame in sort of staying to what you're good at. I know there's like a kind of a narrative with bands always it has to be like an evolution, and to some degree, I think the Beatles kind of like popularized that where they started off as one thing and then they blossomed into a psychedelic butterfly, like they just could do everything, and like you know I would say like here's an example, like Radiohead. Like Radiohead changed so much over the course of their career, and some people love that about them, but I still love like 1997 Radiohead personally. But
Hmm.
they can do
Hmm.
what they want. I just like doing what we do. I don't try to overthink it, I guess.
Hmm.
Mm.
That kind of you kind of touched on my next question that leads to that is like, how much do you take what your fans want or anticipate hearing from you into consideration when it comes to new music?
I don't really think about them because I guess I believe that if we've always kind of done what we do, like I don't think what the music we make is challenging. Let me put it that way. It's pretty accessible, and so I feel like our fans, they trust us to do
Right.
the right
Yeah.
thing,
Well,
which
they're
is like
fans for a
they,
reason. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. I don't think I don't really read any of the comments, and like sometimes people pass them on to me. And it's always nice to see like some, I love seeing like people share like experiences of like me and my buddy, we
Mhm.
always listen to this song on this, that kind of stuff is great. But
Right.
I think it's the artist's job to do what they feel is right and hopefully that takes care of the audience on its
Mhm.
own.
Right. It's kind of a field of dreams thing, like you build it and they will come sort of thing, right? So
That's right. Yeah.
fans might come and go, but you're you and whatever that attracts, it attracts, I suppose.
Yeah.
I'm Kevin Costner. Yes.
You
Okay.
are Kevin
Fair
Costner.
enough.
And you, and if like say a kid were to discover your band in 30 years time, which is the one song that you hope they play?
I think my favorite song is Nobody, which is from our Changing Colors record, but honestly, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't think that I think part of being a band is you create this music and then you send it onto the world and you let people do what they will with it, whether that's like mishearing your lyrics or misinterpreting your lyrics. I actually think that's cool. It's our music's out there. Do what with it what you will and listen to whatever you want, however it finds you, and it's up to you. It's like it's a choose your own adventure, I guess.
Yeah. Do you have anything that you know of that people have crazily misunderstood a song or any like diss lyrics, we'll call them, that you kind of chuckle at, or have you ever come across that kind of thing?
Yeah, there was this group of guys that were really passionate when we were kind of breaking out in 2011. Our Learn and Burn record, they would sit around getting stoned and they would like interpret like all this deep meaning into all the lyrics that I was just like amazed by, like just classic like stoner shit. But I was like,
Mhm.
hell yeah, that's awesome. But like a super basic one is like our song I Don't Know, which is kind of our first radio hit. The chorus is just like, I don't know, help me. But everybody says tell me, which I find
Okay.
still, including people in my band singing behind me. So I don't know how that's happened, but
Excuse
simple little
me
thing.
while I kiss this guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that one.
Oh, that's funny.
We
Um,
touched when last time you were on the podcast, we touched on the cover of the Rolling Stone and all that, and I kind of want to give a different spin this time and see what you think. So
Yeah,
if you
sure.
hadn't won that contest, like, what do you think the Sheepdogs would look like? Like, still the same band, still the same sound, completely different story? How does the
It's hard to
trajectory
say.
go if there's no Rolling Stone?
Yeah, it's a real sliding doors kind of moment. I
Yeah,
don't know.
big time.
I think it could have gone a variety of ways. We may have, when you tour and you don't make money or you don't have success, it's super stressful and it's hard to keep justifying the older you get being in a band that doesn't make any money or have any success. So,
Yeah,
there's
you
a
keep
chance
losing
that
your
we
job
just
too whenever you want to tour.
exactly.
Right.
And prior to that whole thing, we were like seeing some incremental growth, but it was modest and at a lot of a great cost, a lot of grinding. So there's a good chance that we could have like split up in another year or two because it just got to be too much. And then maybe I would have gone into a different job, maybe hopefully still in music. Maybe I would have started another band and maybe that band would have been more successful or less successful. Or we could have kept grinding and maybe we would have just continued to organically get in front of people. We Starting a band is such a young person's game. It's so you need to have a degree of naivety to it to take that plunge of like we're gonna like pack up our gear in this van that's got 300,000 kilometers on it and make it. And it's like I would never do that over again at this point. I'm just like, wow, we were foolish, but man, it was some incredible times and it all worked out to some degree. But I'm like, yeah, I don't know. It's really hard to say what I'd do.
And
Right.
was there something about the experience that you wish people had warned you about? Was there anything that kind of took you by surprise?
Um, I don't know. I mean, I think when we were in that year that we were doing all that Rolling Stone stuff, it was really, really crazy. And we were just whipping around, like flying around and trying to do all this stuff and interviews and press. And it was really hard to like stop and enjoy it. And I know people were always telling us, make sure you enjoy it. It's kind of like having a kid where they're like, oh, it
Live
goes
in the
by so quick. Yeah.
Right.
just
And it's,
just hanging
yeah.
on at this point. Like, oh my God.
Yeah. It was, yeah, it was like a real whiplash year because you're just like, so we tried to live in the moment, but it was very difficult. And also like part of that was like being a band that was like struggling for opportunities. When all of a sudden the door gets opened and you get a bunch of these opportunities, it's hard to not like take all of them. And then you're just running off your feet trying to like, to do all that stuff. So I don't know. It was an insane year. I think we weathered it pretty good. I think we did pretty well.
Yeah, agreed. It put you on the
Yeah,
map.
for sure.
For sure. Yeah. It feels lucky like that we're part of I would argue, part of the Canadian zeitgeist because Canada really rallied around us during that
Hmm.
time. And we're still, kind of part of a great group of bands up here.
Hmm. Speaking of Canadian bands, is there anyone on your radar right now that you're like, these guys rock, or these gals?
There is a band we're bringing out on tour with us called Surf Hat. I think they're on Vancouver Island. They're cool. They're
Yeah.
opening up for us. Cool, really good vibe. So if you come into the Sheepdogs show on our upcoming tour, come early and check out Surf Hat.
When does that tour start?
I think it starts in a week and 1 day here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're playing in Chatham on March in 1 week. I don't know. My life is a disaster. March 13th.
Around then, soon, we'll say soon.
Soon. Yeah, that's right.
So can we go back to just your musical influences just for a minute? And I see you have all those records in the back. What
Yeah.
might be something in your collection or one of your influences that people might not expect of you, given your sound?
I think I'm a pretty like easy going dude. I may have my intense side too, but like I love like easy listening and like the music that has now been called yacht rock I love that. I love like old jazz and like Glenn Miller big band stuff. I love Frank Sinatra. Like I really like a lot of different kinds of music, and I love Led Zeppelin. Like I can see behind you there, Todd. But like I don't like come home and want to put Led Zeppelin on because it's like it's in your face. It's intense.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
there's a time and a place for it, and I love AC/DC too, and I'll throw on a Metallica every now and then. But like when I'm chilling home, I like some some mood setting music, and I think hearing all those different kinds of music really clued me into paying attention to different things. Like there's a time and a place for power and big riffs, but there's also other musical elements you can use like dynamics and arrangement and setting a mood and those kinds of things. And I guess, you know what, Led Zeppelin, I shouldn't keep bringing them up as a negative, because they actually did have a lot of variety in their music, you know, with their acoustic sounds and quiet, loud dynamics and things. I mean, like one of the biggest things I have back there is just like Latin music, like whether it's like Brazilian music in Portuguese or like music from Cuba or Puerto Rico and stuff like that. Like I really like old music from those places because it's like kind of combining American like soul and R&B, but with like Spanish and Portuguese language. And it's just really like, it's exotic and fun and just makes you feel like you're on vacation.
Nice.
Yeah, which is always a good thing, right?
Yeah.
I could use one.
Yeah. If you could create a super group, who would be in it?
Oh,
dead or alive, if we could.
Okay, dead or alive. Okay, well, I'm a big, I don't know if you can see behind me, I got, there's that poster is a Paul McCartney poster, Wings. So I'll go Paul McCartney on bass and vocals. And then I really like, John Bonham's great, but I'm a Ringo guy. I think he's just so unique, so I'm going to put Ringo on drums. And then, John Lennon, him and Paul are the greatest two songwriters of all time, so I've got to put John Lennon in there.
Sounds
and
like
then
we're building the
This
Beatles.
is sounding a lot
hang on. Wait. And then on guitar, I'm going to go with George Harrison. There you go. That's my super group.
And what would you call them?
Fished me in, man.
I'm going to call them the greatest band who ever lived. I don't know, the Beatles too.
Fair enough.
Good call. Nice work. That was great.
Sorry.
What's the plan for you for the rest of the day? You just taking it easy, chilling?
Yeah, I got a little 11-week-old kid upstairs that's gonna need my attention right away here.
Wow.
So, and just doing that good stuff, just being a dad.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's a busy time. 11 weeks. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's intense.
It's full on right now.
Yeah. It's but it's amazing.
So, what hour did you sleep last night?
Yeah.
And from 10 to 12, and then from 4 till like 7, and it's
Yikes.
there's a lot of. I used to make like really nice coffee, and now I just bought like a pot of coffee and I just hammer it all day.
Put a straw in it. Yeah, I hear you.
Totally.
Don't worry, it gets better in like 20 years. So.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Right as I'll be, the career will be winding down. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, let's wrap it up here. We'll respect your time. Thank you, Ewan.
Hey, no problem. Nice talking to you guys. Good questions.
Good to see you again. Yeah.
Good to meet you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Hopefully, maybe we'll cross paths with you guys on this tour. So
yeah, sounds good.
Great. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Okay.